All right, so I'm gonna start
Hey,
with.
how my sound over here? You ain't picking up no feedback on that noise.
Nah, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. I'm gonna start with. I don't know. I got a bunch of shit. I'm gonna start with this right here, just to show people. I'm gonna start with this, and then we're gonna go on to. I got all these tabs right here. I'm gonna talk about. Some of them might talk long, so I might have to make a part two to this. But I gotta be out by like 12:30. Do what I gotta do, cause I'm gonna go get a real quick
Oh, because I had a
workout. Let me see who's in the house. Let me see something. Let me edit this back. Let me put part two. Alright. Let everybody get finished coming in. Peace to everybody coming in. Say watch each. Let me see something. Let me close some shit out. So many people we got now. So we got 32 people. I'm gonna wait till about at least 50. We get about 50. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to all the viewers. This is a Tantralist one, and this is part two of my installment in white identity extremist terrorists in the U.S. And we're gonna be touching on a few things, man. And for those of you guys, I got a documentary coming out called Culture Freedom, Hidden Cultures of America. Um, and you guys know I do not receive any monetary gain from these YouTube videos. Um, Pretty much I'm just winging it at this point in time. I was receiving monetary gain, but they shut down my channel, so they wouldn't even allow me to receive any monetary. That's why I can't put my t-shirt spring up on my channel, because my channel is not monetized, as well as, like I said, with people with support. And shout out to the people who have supported thus far. Um, Let me see something. Let me go. Let me just give everyone that sent me a donation a shout out. Man. I appreciate you guys. Definitely appreciate you guys. Like I said, the link is in the description if you would like to help out and donate to Culture Freedom, Hitting Coaches of the Americas. Um, as well as my t-shirt spring is actually in the description. So shout out to RB. He sent me a $10 donation. Peace, my brother. Shout out to SG. Sent me a 25 donation. Peace, my brother. And shout out to TR. Send me a $50 donation. Peace, my sister. I appreciate you. I think I pretty much got everybody else in the last video. Um, EM sent me a $10 donation. WD sent me a $40 donation. And SM sent me a $10 donation. As well as Precious Gym Healthcare sent me a $100 donation. And this was a little prior back. I think I kind of pretty much touched on these. But thank everybody who are able to send donations. And like I said, if you can't send donations, send me a 3-minute clip of you and your family history, and how do you know you're Aborigine, and what tribe did your family come in, and I will put you in the documentary. But as far as anybody who would like to send donations, send it to my PayPal account. And anybody who would like to cop some Aborigine apparel, go to my T-shirt Spring account. It's in the description, and cop yourself something. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you gotta have to represent yourself. You should be proud of who you are. and you shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying, afraid to walk around, even wear that work. You know, I know some people gotta be dressed up to go to work, some of the ladies, but on Fridays, most of the time they allow you to wear your own clothes. You can wear it up under your little blazers, or you can wear it up under your, you know, whatever, man. Wear it to the store, go to the store with it. Let them know you're Aborigine of America, because everybody here not an Aborigine. All right, so this is the second installment in the White Identity Extremist. I think that would be good name or good title to address, because, you know, I mean, like I said, we know about a lot of the history, and a lot of people always say, well, what is history going to do for us? You know, you always got to understand what history going to do for you, because a lot of people, you know, seem to forget what our ancestors been through in this country. And it was really because we were Aborigines, and that they couldn't do nothing with us. They could not send you. They were trying to ship you to Africa. We touched on American Colonization Society. You know, we seen who was the major figures in that, all the way from Andrew Jackson, Sir Francis Scott Keys, all the way down to Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? Who had friends, or who was in affiliate people who was white supremacists, that was basically conspiring to send us back to Africa to take you off your land. All right, so this is a quick synopsis of the reason, like, why I touched on this, because when you study this history, you see most people, you know, we taught this whole colonization, the people came here, they was friendly and they didn't do no harm to the people here. But once you realize what these people did to us when they got here, you start seeing what the bigger picture of all this shit was. All right, so this is real brief. This is a history standard 3 resources: conflict between Native American and colonists. All right, so thesis 1, it says initially white colonists viewed Native Americans as helpful and friendly. They welcomed the native. Remember, native is Aborigine, so we're not natives, okay? You know, some idiots think that everybody here is native. We're not native. We're Aborigine. We're first inhabitants. We have this minerals that's running through this soil. That is our genetic makeup. Okay, the minerals that's in the soil is running through your body. So that's what make you a tauntaun, one sprung from the soil he or she inhabits. Okay, so it say they welcome the natives into their settlement and into their settlements. How you gonna welcome somebody who land you on into the settlement? It say, and the colonists willingly engaged in trade with them. They hope to transform the tribe people into civilized Christians, which we know most of us do have these people who be praying and praying to Jesus and all these mysterious characters and everything. It say through their daily contact. The Native Americans, Aboriginal Americans, resented and resisted the colonization attempt to change them. Okay, what are they trying to do now? What they always try to do? Or you can't come and work with braids, or you can't wear the hip hop, but you know it's cool for a white kid to wear a do rag and a hoodie. Oh, he's innocent, but you wear one, you's a damn criminal. They refuse to conform to European culture. Now check this out. Their refusal to conform to European culture angered the colonists, and hostility soon broke out between the two groups. The violence of their confrontations with Aboriginal Americans resulted in the shift of English attitudes towards other races. The other races is us. They just want you to believe that the other races have been us from day one. Colonists blame their failure to assimilate the Aborigines into their culture on racial differences, and begin to associate all people of color with negative characteristics. They're talking about us, all right? It ain't no all people of color. The only people of color is us. Okay, what do they call you? Colored. The Native Americans aren't classified as colored. Thesis 2. Some Native American tribes embrace the English. Now, why does it keep talking about the English? Because the English was the people who came here. It say in their culture, because doing so brought them prestige, wealth, and a strong military ally. They participated in English society by adopting their traditional skills to meet the military need of the colonists. Now, who fought in all these wars? Who was the first person died in the Revolutionary War? Crispus Attucks, which everybody know he's an Indian. They try to say, oh, he had a father that was an African. They only tell you that because they know, because they identify him as color. So they have to make you think that he was mixed with something. All right. Now it tells you, it says to meet the military need and the colonies. At the same time, many tribes became dependent on their white allies to maintain power over their tribal enemies. The two groups maintained peaceful relationship as long as the Native Americans conformed to English social and religious practices. All right. King Philip War was marked by a turning point in the colonists' acceptance of Native Americans. They appreciated the success of their native allies. Their native allies, which is you sell out Aborigines who sell us out to this day. It say, but they also feared it. Their distrust of friendly tribe resulted in policies and segregation and discrimination laws. Now, who was in segregation? Who had discriminatory laws against them? Okay, so first we're gonna start. I don't even know where to start. I got so much shit pulled up here, man. I'm just gonna give y'all a brief. I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Something I was looking at before I even get into the main content of this documentary or this live stream or whatever the hell you want to call it, right? So it said, who was worse, Hitler, Cecil Rhodes, or King Leopold II from Belgium? All right. Now they sitting here debating on who was worse. You know that they always say Hitler was worse somehow, right? They try to make it seem like Hitler was worse because, you know, most of these articles are written by Europeans. So Europeans always want to make it seem like they was worse, right? But in this article right here, right, it was showing. It says, was Cecil Rhodes responsible for more deaths than those lost in the Holocaust? All right. It says there is posting being passed around my Facebook friends. Da, 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 da. All right. When you get right here, you know, and this is just really more speculatory or whatever. You'll find out that Cecil Rhodes had his hands in a lot of murders in so-called on the continent of Africa or whatever. But I just felt like this should be good just to show you the international white identity extremists, not just the ones in the U.S. This is a worldwide thing. Okay. It takes a rough number of 6 million Jews. Now we know it wasn't 6 million Jews murdered, right? How do I know it wasn't? How do you know it wasn't 6 million Jews murdered in Tonsillis one? Why? Because from the early 1900s, they had newspaper clippings stating that it was only 6 million Jews, right? And they was going, and then these 6 million Jews from the 1900s, right? And I think it started at 1912. Hitler wasn't even in power then. Now they got you thinking, oh, Hitler hated the Jews so much, right? They say Hitler hated the Jews so much, right? But in 1912, before Hitler even came in power, they already had news clippings saying 6 million Jews need a place to stay. And then they go from 1 year, then they go to the next year. 6 million Jews need a place to go, or they're gonna be exiled in their home. And this shit go all the way up until the time of Hitler rise to power, right? So it starts in 1912. I think the last one is 1928, right? And the person who reading it, he's giving you the dates and he telling you how many years there is into Hitler power. So this is always some type of propaganda that was put out there from the early 1900s, right? Now, if it was only 6 million of them, how did Hitler kill 6 million? And it was still some left over to go to Israel. Okay, this is all smoke and mirrors. Now I say the death toll of 60 million will be inferred as being caused by Cecil Rhodes. Since this would be about, he said, you got to do the research. I'm gonna really go into it. They try to say it was BS or whatever though, but we know Cecil Rhodes murdered a lot of people because of De Beers and because of the Oppenheimer and the diamond the diamond industry. All right, so. This is what I'm going to be going in. Me and AP just were talking about on the next one, all right? I'm not going to be talking about this now. We're going to be strictly talking about some more obvious black history. All right, and let's say this is a list. This is a listing of some of the events reported then or referred to now as Indian massacres. The list only contains incidents that occurred in Canada and the United States or the territory presently part of the United States. All right, so it's a pre-Columbian area right here. The Crow Creek massacre. All right, but you go down, it shows you just this one alone right here. All right, this is 1540. All right, this is Mabilla massacre. All right, so it said the Choctaw retaliated against the Herman DeSantos expedition, killing 200 soldiers as well as many of their horses and pigs for their having burned down Mabilia compound. It say and killed 250 warriors who had hidden in houses of a fake village. All right, so I believe that these are basically the how many tribal people that was murdered in that one sitting. All right, now right here, the Sandia Mountains. Spanish troop destroyed 3 Indian villages in the Sandia Mountains, New Mexico. According to Spanish sources, 900 Tempero Indians were killed. It's 900. See, look at these numbers, all right? And it goes on. I'm gonna be touching on this the next time. But for now, we're gonna go here. Let me see something. All right. We could pretty much start. Let me see something. All right, let's start with the lynchings. All right, let's start with this. Now keep in mind what the key article was that I read. This one right here. Keep in mind what part one said and what the assimilation and what the Europeans did. So, we know who the Europeans is, we know what they look like, and we know who their ancestors is. And their ancestors is responsible for most of the lynchings that was done in the South. All right.
Right.
All right. So the history of lynching. Throughout the late 19th century, racial tensions grew throughout the United States. Now, this is after so-called slavery or so-called assimilation, after they rounded and started making these little municipalities and these states and these cities. All right, they say tensions grew throughout the United States. More of this tensions was notably in the South, part of the United States. They say in the South, people were blaming their financial problems on the newly freed slaves that lived around them. Lynchings were becoming a popular way of resolving some of the anger that whites had in retaliation of free blacks. Now, look, now, here we go. Let's get with this shit, all right? Retaliation of freed blacks. They've been doing this shit from day one. This article, the first article telling you about the conflict between the Aborigines and the colonists tells you this, right? So it ain't just now, it's they've been doing this shit, right? So it says from 1882 through 1968, 4,743 lynching occurred. Now, how many of them wasn't counted? It probably was triple that number, right? In the United States, it say of these people that was lynched, 3,446 were black. Okay, it say black. It say the blacks lynched accounted for 72.7% of the people lynched. The numbers seem large, but it is known that not all of the lynchings were ever recorded. Out of 4,743 people lynched, only 1,297 people, no, white people was lynched. All right, now let's keep that in mind. All right, it say that is only 27.3%. Many of the whites were lynched for helping blacks or being anti-lynching and even domestic crimes. All right. Now, I say, was lynching necessary? Say, to many people, it was not. But to whites in the late 19th century, it served a purpose. Whites started lynching because they felt it necessary to protect white women. It say rape, though, was not a great factor in the reason. Now, keep that in mind. All right, keep that in mind, because if I have time, we're going to touch on that as well. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, they say whites started lynching because they felt it was necessary to protect white women. Keep that in mind. Okay, keep rape in mind. Keep white women in mind. Okay. They say rape was not a great factor in a reason behind the lynching. It was the third greatest cause of lynching behind homicide and all other causes. Most of the lynching that took place happened in the South. It's a big reason for this was the end of the Civil War. Once blacks were giving their freedom, many people felt that free blacks was getting away with too much freedom, it say, and felt they needed to be controlled. Mississippi had the highest lynching from 1882 to 1968 with 580. Georgia was the second with 531. Texas was the third with 493. 79% of the lynchings happened in the South. All right. Let's keep it moving. It say of the lynchings that did not take place in the South, mainly in the West, were normally lynchings of whites, not blacks. Say most of the lynchings in the West came from the lynchings either murderers or cattle thieves. There were really no political link to the lynchings of blacks in the South and whites in the West. Not all states did lynch people. Some states did not lynch a white or black person. Alaska, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, where these few states had no lynching between 1882 and 1968. Although states did have lynching, some of them did not lynch any blacks. Arizona, Idaho, Maine, Nevada, South Dakota, Vermont, and Wisconsin were states that did not lynch any blacks to record. Quite a few states did in fact lynch white people. Well, more white people than blacks. Now they keep on trying to throw these white people up in here, but I ain't buying. Let's keep it moving. All right. It says sad to think that we look at other countries and deem them for immoral for killing their own people, but we overlook the fact of what happened in the late 1890s and to 1960. It say this is something that we cannot overlook and do not need to ever try to overlook it. All right. So May 19, 1918. All right. Say Walter White was sent to the NAACP to investigate lynchings in Lord County, Georgia. The lynching of Mary Turner was one of the investigations. It's an abusive plantation owner, Hampton Smith, was shot and killed. It's a week long manhunt resulted in the killing of her husband. No, the killing of the husband of Mary Turner. And no, the killing of the husband, Mary Turner, and Hayes Turner. All right. Mary Turner denies that her husband had been involved in Smith killing, publicly opposed her husband murder, and threatened to have members of the mob arrested. On May 19th, a mob of several hundred brought her to Folsom Bridge, which separates Brooks and Lord County in Georgia. The mob tied her by her ankles. They say hung her upside down from a tree and dosed her with gasoline and motor oil and set her on fire. Now look, this is real white identity extremists. You hear this shit? A mob. This is what they was doing to black women. Tied her by her ankles, hung her upside down, and doused her with gasoline and fucking burnt her. They say Turner was still alive when members of the mob split her abdomen with a knife, and her unborn child fell to the ground. The baby was stomped and crushed. It say as it fell to the ground, Turner's body was riddled with hundreds of bullet holes. My God, my fucking God, man. Oh my God.
That's crazy, bro. That shit is gut wrenching, dog.
My
I mean,
God, bro.
if y'all
My
don't feel that, if y'all don't feel the after effects of what these white identity extremists has been doing over and over, it's just ridiculous, yo.
bro,
She
God damn, yo, that right there, I felt that shit just irked my soul, yo. Let's keep it moving, though, man. Let's have a moment of silence from Mary Turner, though, man. Real talk, bro, because she
absolutely.
definitely deserved it, yo. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so Tennessee, 1918. Walter White, The Crisis, May 1918. A fair-skinned with straight hair, Walter White, Assistant Secretary for the NACP, used his appearance to increase his effectiveness in conducting investigations of lynching and race riots in the South. He could pass and talk to white but identify as black, and he could talk to members of the Aborigine community. They say, though, in 1927, whites would investigate 41 lynchings. Jesse McHerring was a proper a properist. No, was what? Whatever, I can't get that word out. It's saying small ways. He was a Negro who resented the slight in and its insults of white men. He went he went armed, and the sheriff feared him. They say on February 8th he got into a quarrel with three young white men who assaulted him. He said threats were made, and McHerring fired 6 shots, killing 2 of the men. See, now look, killing 2 of the men in self-defense. It say he fled to his home. He fled to the home of a colored clergyman who aided him to escape. It say afterwards shots. It say afterwards shots and killed by no. It say afterwards shot and killed by a mob. McHerring was captured, and full arraignment were made for a lynching. Men, women, and children started into the town of East Still Spring from a radius of 50 miles, a radius of 50 miles, saying a spot was chosen for the burning of McHerring was chained to a hickory tree while a mob howled about him. All right, howled about him. It say a fire was built a few feet away, and the torture began. It say bars of iron were heated, and the mob amused itself by putting them close to the victim. It say the first no the, no it say at first without touching him. It say one bar he grasped, and as it was jerked from his no from him, it say grass, all of the insides of him came out. They say then the real torturing began, lasting 30 minutes. During that time, while his flesh was slowly roasting, the Negro never lost nerve. It say he cursed those who tortured him, and almost to his last breath derived an attempt of the mob to break his spirit. All right. So look, man, that's just some
Sheesh.
I mean, I'm quite sure that there's 100 more stories, man, but I don't think I can get through another 5. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't think I can get through another 5. Let me see where this takes me at.
Yeah, but
Let me
in that story in particular, it talks about how he cursed him and he kept his pride. You know what I mean? The whole time they had ripped his guts out, and as he's burning on fire, he's still screaming at him. Letting him know, can't break this pride. This something that was deeply embedded in him. You know what I'm saying? We don't die, we just multiply.
check this out. Let's read through this real quick because it's real small. All right, so rape is not the reason. It say, let me open up a little bit more. Okay. It say rape is not the reason. A Lee County farmer named McGuinn, shot by a mob, took refuge in an Old Man Lake house. The sheriff came for the wounded man while the Lake boys were out of the house. It say and was shot by McGuinn. Although the mob knew the Lake had nothing to do with the shooting, they returned the next night, and hung Old Man Lake. It say his 3 sons and his nephew to the dogwood tree, merely as an expression of white supremacy. All right. Now this is what they was doing. Okay. Now they will fucking lynch a whole damn family. You understand? And you think that these people, look at all these people in this picture right here. Look at all these people in this picture right here. And my thing is this, man. I'm not, like I said, I'm kind of against. I'm definitely against interracial marriage or whatever, because I don't know why would you want to marry a motherfucking white person? Why would you want to marry some person who responsible for doing this shit or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. And I'm not saying, I know in some cases there's different there's different cases or whatever, but for the most part or whatever, like I really don't see, like, you know, because we're in a time right now, and why would you oppose knowing what these people done, knowing what the reason, what most of the Europeans here on this land came here to do. Now we know we got some people in our family that was white, and that's due to the fact that a lot of these people, it was some white slaves captured or whatever. Well, shit, it was a lot of white slaves. That was the forgotten cause of civil war. That's what that book was about, mainly to free a lot of the whites that was in the South. A lot of people don't even understand that shit though. But let me continue, man. All right, so it say this woman did not commit rape. It say Albany, Georgia, October 4th, 1916. A Negro woman named, I can't get her name out. Canelia. It say whose son is charged with killing a white farmer after a quarrel in which she took part. It say was taken from a jail at Leary, Georgia, sometime Monday night and lynched, according to reports reached here today. Her body riddled with, I mean, I'm sorry, today. It say her body riddled with bullets was found today. It say the son is under arrest. All right. Now they was doing this to fucking women, y'all. They was doing this not just the men. They was doing this shit to women too. So you women coons that think that these people, you know what I'm saying, don't still have the same energy. Like, I mean, what? Like, come on now. We reading this shit, right? You think these people, the only reason why most people ain't showing their fangs because they got a system that's built for them to fucking live on top of you. They got a system built to where you can't, where you can live within your means. But if you look at the statistics, right, the average so-called well-off Negro in this country only live off of $300,000. Okay, there's only what they say, 0.1% of black millionaires in this country. And they said 8% of whites are millionaires, not to mention how many of them billionaires. There's only one white black billionaire in this country, all right? Now, they had the first black billionaire, which was Reginald Lewis, who basically went to law school, and what he did was he rebuilt a shell corp in which I believe it was Beach Nut baby food, and I think it was in South America or whatever. And as soon as he did that, he mysteriously died. He was a billionaire, in good health and everything. He was talking about helping the black community, and he had a Filipino wife or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he was talking about helping black men, and he was a real advocate for black men. Whether he had a Filipino wife and everything, but you hear him talking like for a person of that stature, he ain't gotta say shit about us. Ain't gotta say shit about us. He can go to their tea parties and eat tea sandwiches and eat cheese and wine. He ain't never got to mention it. But for a brother of that status to mention you, you know what I'm saying? It tells a lot though. But I digress. Let me continue. All right. So it's a five hung for a hog. All right. So five hung for a hog. On August 18th, 1916, the sheriff went from Gainesville, Florida at 2 o'clock in the morning to arrest Boise Long for hog stealing. Boise shot the sheriff and escaped. It say in retribution, next morning, the mob hung Boise's wife, Sella Long, okay? It say Mary Dennis, pregnant, James Dennis, and Bert Dennis, neighbors, and Josh Baskin, a colored preacher, all to the same dogwood tree, an expression of white supremacy. So these motherfuckers, so her husband shot somebody. They went and hung his wife, Miss Stella Long, Mary Davis, who was pregnant, James Dennis, Bert Dennis, and neighbors Josh Baskin, a colored preacher. Okay, they went and killed all these people because he stole a hog and shot the fucking sheriff. Okay, now, like I said, now We read how they captured this lady and cut her fuck. And these are stories they telling you that was done in slavery. These wasn't slavery stories. These stories happened after slavery. Okay, they wanted you to tell. They want you to believe this shit was happening during slavery. This shit happened after slavery in most cases. Okay, because see, these people will confuse this with so-called slavery and say, well, this is what they was doing to you. And say, no, 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 no. This is what they was doing after slavery. Okay, now, all right, here. It say, here's a typical year in 1915. Colored man lynched, 74. Colored women lynched, 5. Colored children lynched, 1. Colored citizens, 80. Hung, 71. Shot, 3. Drowned, 1. Burnt alive, 5. It say tortured citizens, 80. It say for murder, 32. For stealing, 9. For rape and attempt rape, 9. It say for resisting arrest, 6. No, resisting arrest, 6. They still killing us for resisting arrest. Unknown reason, 6. Improper advances to woman. What do that sound like? Emmett Till. Okay. It say for assault, 3. Threats and assault, 3. Poisoning mule. So they was killing you for poisoning animals. Concealing fugitives, 2. Miscellaneous, 2. American citizens, 80. All right. It say 3 regiments, 2,850 lynched since 1885, less than 33% for rape, attempted rape, and alleged rape. All right. So this is Waco horror. It say there are all crimes even worse than rape. All right. It say on May 8th, 1916, Jesse Washington, a boy of 17, of deficient mentally, it say raped and murdered the wife of his employee. It say on May 15th, 1916, he was tied to a he was tried in Waco, Texas, and condemned to hang that same afternoon with the connivance of the sheriff Flemings, and without protest from Judge Monroe, the mob took the prisoner from the. See, these motherfuckers is treacherous, bro. And cause you go back and claim what you are, they see a motherfucker like the brother that was basically protesting, and they had firearms, and they try to say he was a black identity extremist. But look at these are known fucking people who went around and did this shit willingly, but they don't want to talk about that. You understand? And then people's, like I said, man, going forward, you got to know your history, man. You have to know your history, because these are Aborigine people. These are not no African Americans or no Negro or blacks, and these are people who were from the land. It was the fix was already in because of right here. The fix was already in because of right here. It say Native American resented and resisted colonists' attempt to change them. The refusal to conform to European culture angered the colonists, and hostile soon broke out between the two groups. The violence of their confrontation with the Native Americans resembled in a shift of English attitude toward other races. Colonists blamed their failure to assimilate the Native Americans into their culture and racial differences. It's saying racial differences, and begin to associate all people of color with negative characteristics. All right. And it goes on further. It say some Native American tribe. It say such and such. It say they participated in English society by adopting their traditional skills to meet the military needs. And this is for Negroes who went to the military. It say of the colonists, because most motherfuckers went to the military, came back with guns, and they was pretty much trying to like really protect the community, like you see in Roseland. Ving Rhames, nigga, brandished 2 weapons, and remember they lynched him, and he got out of that shit. It said at the same time, Many tribes became dependent on their white allies to maintain power over the tribal enemies. The two groups maintained peaceful relations as long as the Native Americans conformed to English social and religious practices. All right. So these devils will go motherfucking lynch you and form. Look at all these people. Look at all these people. You honestly believe that you don't know none of these, all these white people, none of these people are descendants that work next to you. None of these people are descendants of the people who work or live next to you.
Right. Thousands of people. Thousands
Thousands.
of
Look at all these people. Like, what kind of sick individual? This is like a fuck. This is entertainment. This is the reason why they put murders on TV and you watch this shit now from your TV and they show you all this shit because these people are fucking savages, man. Why would you want to mate with any of these savages, man? Thinking you want to change them. You understand? So let's keep it moving, man. Fuck that. I could care less, man. Like, real talk, man. Look, let me say 15,000 Texans shouted their approval while those near enough unsexed him. They say while those near enough unsexed him, cut off his fingers, nose, and ears, and burnt him alive. After which the remainings were dragged through the streets of the city of 40,000, bouncing at the end of the lars. They say the teeth bought $5 each, and the length of the chains, it say 25 cents. It say the white, it's no, this while the gallant Negro troopers of the 10th Cavalry were on their way to Carazal. How long are such mob to be allowed to drag the nation good? And there ain't no nation good. And the nation was founded on this shit right here. The nation was founded on this shit right here. There's a few probably good people amongst who try to do something, but guess what? They still benefit from white supremacy or from white inferiority because they can't say nothing. And the people who did say something, they had examples in the motherfucking Europeans that was lynched. So the Europeans that tried to help you, oh, you want to help him? All right, get his ass too. Hung his ass right next to you. So the rest of the Europeans who probably wanted to say something, they probably looking like, oh shit, you better not say nothing or and they went along to get along. And they went the fuck along to get along. Okay? So let me see something real quick. Let me see something real quick. I want to go back because that's interesting right there. Very interesting. Let me see this one right here. Let me see. Let's read this one right here. Robert Nash, letter to Elizabeth Freeman. Let's read this. Let me see something. Okay, all right. We're gonna check this out. Look, it's a National Association of Advancement of Colored People. It's a additional members of the board. All right. So this is the letter we're gonna read. Let's read through a little bit of this shit, all right? Now check this out. It say, Dear Miss Freeman, the evening paper last night all carried the brief Associated Press story of the Waco lynching on the front page. Such a spectacle in the public square of a town of over 25,000 inhabitants. A young boy condemned to death and taken from the courtroom affords one of the most speculative grounds of attack on the whole institution of lynching ever presented. Mr. Villard of the Evening Post, our treasurer, asked me when I came back from Georgia to get the inside story of the next horrible lynching so that he can write it up and spread it broadcast through the Southern press over his own name. It say all of the Southerner sentiments is as squarely against this thing as is the North. The fact in This instance should be particularly easy to ascertain. It say if 15,000 citizens witness the burning, the town will be talking or nothing else for some time. The facts that the boy's crime was previously brought out in, let me see. um, all right, so they say brought out in court. They say the scene of the crime is only 7 miles from Waco. Many photos were probably taken by the mob that looked on. They say we expect next week to have some money with which to attack this and similar cases legally, employing the most distinguished legal talent in an effort to bring somebody to book. It's a conference Monday in the office of Moorfield Story. It's of Boston. It's our national president and former president of the American Bar Association will decide whether or not we launch a nation campaign against lynching. All right. So, all right. Let me see. All right, pretty much just a letter right here, man. I ain't gonna read no more on it, but this is it right here, man. And that's pretty much that, man. That's the type of shit they was doing, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got another article right here, but I really don't even need to go on this because we already done heard enough. Look at all these Europeans out there. Look at all these Europeans out here. They enjoy doing this shit, man. They enjoyed this shit. They enjoyed it just like they enjoy it today. And if you talk about it, oh man, you're this, fuck out of here, man. All right, so I ain't gonna touch on this because we just went on this. I got a few other things I need to touch on. Let me close this out.
Yeah, man, you going in, man. Just it can go on days and days, and it could be all the way up to a part 99 dealing with white identity extremists.
Yeah, partner, man, this shit gonna be a part. This shit can go up to the millions, man.
That's what I'm saying.
This shit can go up to the millions, bro. Like real talk, man. Let me just, you know what? I'm gonna say that one. Let's touch on this one right here, real quick. Let's touch on. Let's touch on this right here. Let's touch on the bombing in 16th Street, where the 4 young girls was killed. All right, let's touch on this, man. Since these motherfuckers like to talk about somebody terrorists, you niggas bombing churches and killing children and all types of shit, man. And then you sit around here, oh well, this is a new America. It's a new America because you got all the power because of white inferiority is reigning. You know what I'm saying? It's reign supreme. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you got a lot of people out here. I'm not no integrationist, man. I don't hate nobody. I don't have no malice towards any of these cultures that's in this country or whatever. But for the most part, I'm damn sure not going to forget what was done. And I'm damn sure not going to try to, blend in or be no integrationist and say, oh, well, you know what? Well, nah, this is the people who was doing what they was doing. If you are Aborigine, I just read to you what the English colonists was doing to you. What part don't you fucking understand? What part? What more do you need? What more do you need? You shouldn't want to be an integration because integration is what fucking is what hurt. Whether we was segregated or we was integrated, it's like it's still a lose-lose. Because when you were segregated, they would round up 25. They said 40,000, bro. They rounded 40,000 people in one motherfucking day, yo. 40,000 people. So even if it was 100 of you, it's 40,000 of the motherfuckers coming. But you can't even protest 40,000. It can't be 40,000 so-called blacks to protest for reparations or protest for one of these murders. You gotta go get a fucking permit. When these motherfuckers was going to the jail cell, snatching you out and fucking murdering you, doing all this shit to women, children, cutting it, yo. Yo, like My God, my God, my God. If there is one, all praise to the Most High. All right, so here we go. 16th Street Baptist Church bombing was 55 years ago. Okay, photos of the tragedy. All right. Saturday was the anniversary of the bombing of 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham. The service honored Annie McCollins, Denise McClare, Carol Robinson, and Cynthia Wesley, and two boys killed shortly after the bombing. Okay. Two boys, I need to find out who them two boys was. Johnny Robinson Jr., oh, that's him, Johnny Robinson Jr., and Virgil Ware. It say recognize Birmingham as the center of the civil rights movement and improvise that march to the justice of equality of all people is not over. Okay. Now these are not people who classified as Indians doing this shit. They still doing this shit to the real Indians. Okay. Now 10:22 a.m. the bombing exploded in the rubble of 16th Street Baptist Church, where the bodies of Annie Mae Collins, 14 years old, Denise McNair, 11 years old, Carolyn Robinson, 14 years old, and Cynthia Wesley, 14 years old. Another 22 people were injured in the explosion. Windows was blown out by of nearby businesses, as were a stained glass window at the church depicting Christ leading children. After the blast, Christ's head was blown away. It say it was just a matter of time, said Pastor John H. Cross of the bombing. We've been expecting this all along. So if you was expecting it all along, why the fuck did you have people there? Children at the most. You understand what I'm saying? See, these people were still doing this shit. Now this is look. This is 55 years ago. All right. What is it? 2018, to what, 98, that's 20 years. 78, that's 40 years. So 1963 is 55 years. So this is 55 years ago that they was doing this, okay? 55 years ago. 55 years ago, they was bombing they was doing this type of horrific shit to us. But you got motherfuckers in this country who is honest, who have basically post-traumatic stress syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Who had after going through this shit, man, you know how much baggage a person left to where you want to fucking shoot some heroin in your fucking veins and forget about all this shit, or smoke some damn crack and forget about it all. And all we do is tear our people down who got pain and don't even know what their pain is caused by. Their pain is caused by 500 years of the British invasion and Europeans and the terror that they caused here in this fucking land. And now in 2018, they want you to forget everything. They want you to sit around here and dance to white rappers. They steal your culture. They bring all these immigrants here, and these immigrants steal your culture. And that all at the same time, they're telling you that you from Africa. Okay, keep that in mind. All right. So it says, Cross said he believed the violence could have been prevented if civil rights leaders had spoken out forcefully against the bombings across Birmingham. So they already had bombings in Birmingham. It say in recent years, it would have given the extremists an opportunity to reconsider. Okay, so why would you be that extreme over people who peaceful? Because these people just got hate in their fucking hearts, man. They just hateful fucking people, bro. And whether you procreate with them or whether you work next to them, these are the same people. They smile, make you conform to these holidays. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving or fucking the day of Halloween, they look at you like, oh, how could you not celebrate? Fuck them holidays, bitch. That's why. You understand? I had to tell them, one of my coworkers, yo, listen, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't celebrate Halloween. I don't celebrate Columbus Day. Get away from me with that shit. Okay? Get away from me with that shit, okay? You go take that shit over there to Susan across the room. I don't want to hear none of that shit. I'm here to do my job and go home, and that's it. All right? And take the motherfucking my Federal Reserve notes, and try to get as far as away from you motherfuckers. All right. So it says the bombing. The Bremerton News reported it was the 41st bombing in the past six. In no, it was the 41st bombing in the city in the past 16 years. So in 16 years, these motherfucking terrorists was bombing motherfuckers, yo, bombing motherfuckers, and these niggas is not regarded as terror. Oh, what they would
That's
just
crazy.
they just wanted they make it seem like they were just so like good old boys or whatever. Wow, so where is these people at now? And who got their blood and DNA in them now? 41 bombings in the same city in 16 years, and the police ain't locked nobody up. Just like the police can't lock nobody up in Chicago today, with all the cameras and all everything. They got bomb. I mean, when you shoot a gun off, they got these things that basically listen out for them when you shoot a gun out or whatever. And they ain't lock nobody up in Chicago. I find that to be ridiculous. Unless they have mercenaries doing this shit. How? How do 60 something people get shot and no one is brought to justice? And if they is brought to justice, try to blame 5 of them on one innocent boy. How many other cases do we have where motherfuckers was basically lynched or put in jail for a lifetime for some shit they didn't commit? How many cases are there? There's hundreds, if not thousands, or not tens or hundreds of thousands of people who probably locked up for shit they didn't commit. Okay, which is, and right now we just said that what they said the main reason why they was lynching people because of rape, right? What did they just lynch Bill Cosby because of rape? But niggas like, oh well, CNN had all his accusers up there, a bunch of lying fucking ex-prostitutes and crackheads or whatever, but they could just come out. So he raped me 20 years ago, he raped me. So why the fuck you just saying something now? Oh, because I was scared to say something. Well, you lost your right to say something. Sorry. You lost your right to say something. How the fuck could you bring something out now and then you want justice now that you got the heart to say something? Like I said, look, it's like right now. I can't bring up charges against some shit that happened to me, and you got to be heroic. If some shit like that happened to you, you need to speak upon it that day. Go seek somebody out that you can find that you can trust, and go talk to that person, and you tell that person what happened to you. Don't sit there and conceal it and then come out. You want to come out. You want to, oh, well, he did this. I don't believe you. I
That's
don't
it.
believe you. You understand? I don't believe you. So let's read on some more of this, all right? So look at these beautiful girls, man. Let's have a moment of silence for these sisters, y'all. All right, y'all. So today marks the 55th anniversary of the tragedy. Here are some photos from that day. Original caption. It's a news file, Tom Self firefighter shift through the rubbles and searching for their bodies in the basement of 16th Street Baptist Church. After the bombing killed 4 girls on Sunday, September 15, 1916, a stretcher waits to carry away more victims found. Yeah, okay. It say, check this out. All right, so all right, so let me just get some identity of these women. All right, so this is young Denise McClare, beautiful. Young Carolyn Robinson, another beautiful sister. Young Annie Mae Collins, another beautiful sister. And a young Cynthia Wesley, another beautiful sister. It's an anti integration demonstration plant in Mayfield for that night was canceled, but not before someone hung President Kennedy in a effigy. It's a before the crowd cheering, before the cheering crowd. Sorry about that. So it's a violence is not our plan. The Reverend Farrell Gritchwall, pastor of the Minor Height Baptist, told the crowd the bombing of these children is drastically act. Okay, rest in peace, sisters. All right. So most people, you already know about this shit, man. And it's sad, like I said, that we gotta bring it up and basically put it. I mean, I think they brought somebody to justice, but like most cases, no one never went to jail. No one never went to jail, bro. Look, you see this? See all the damage is done. They said 41 bombings, bro. 41 bombings in the last 16 years, bro. See this shit? Look.
Yeah, that sound like some shit that's going on in Iraq today, or in the
Yeah.
early 2000s.
Yeah. These are not terrorists. This is not the act of a fucking terrorist. You understand?
Yeah, that's more evidence than what you need to prove that them people are terrorists.
Man, this is not the act of a terrorist, bro. Like, I
Nah,
mean, what? You know what I'm saying? What acts? But now they want to try to bring everybody. Now they want to try to regulate and make everything right. Oh well, we couldn't catch them, but fuck it. We're gonna, and then they point a finger and make you the motherfucking criminals and throw you all up in jail, and they act like this shit never happened. You understand? And act like this shit never happened, Two other things right here. All right, so let's get with this. Let's see, what was this? All right, so these are 6 more experiments on slaves and blacks you might not know about. All right, let me see how many people we got up in here, man. Shout out to everybody watching, man. This is a Thompsonist one, and this is White Identity Terrorists in the United States. Thank everybody, the viewers, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got a documentary come out called Culture Freedom, hitting cultures of the Americas, which is basically talking about the Chinese or the numerous tribes that was considered to be Negro and colored. If you like to donate, the link is in the description. You can send it to my PayPal account, or if you like to support me, you don't have to send no money to support me. Just support my T-shirt spring and support yourself at the same time. I mean, I'm trying to give you something in exchange for something. You know what I'm saying? But if you like to donate just to be, a kind spirit, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, so we can keep on putting this stuff out there. I don't plan on getting no Patreon page. Fuck all that. And to anybody who got one, no discredit to them, but I'm not trying to do that or whatever. If you donate, you donate. If you don't, I'm gonna continue to make these videos. All right. But like I said, as far as Culture Freedom, if you would like to help out, and if you can't donate, then take time, maybe 3 minutes, have somebody record you. If you don't want your face shown, you could send me an audio or whatever, and just, you know what I'm saying, just send a video and I'll put it in the video or whatever. I'll put it in the documentary. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to get 1,000 heads. So far, I got a little over 400. So I'm trying to get 1,000 heads. So, if you want to send a video, and please, man, get involved with it, man. Get involved with it, man. I watch Tariq Nasheed. I watch some of these other brothers who be brother Jason Black or whatever from TBA, the Black Authority, and numerous other people. And I see, like, people donate to them or whatever, and they don't even they got a cause, but their cause is telling you that you're African, man. Why wouldn't you want to donate to a brother who's telling you you're Aboriginal, who bringing you references and research? There's other brothers out there doing it, man. But I consider myself to be one of the primary people doing it, and it's not about standing on my soapbox trying to look down on nobody, but I'm putting the work in. I got hours and hours of videos or whatever, you know what I'm saying, talking about this shit, man. So like I said, if you appreciate the content and you want to see this documentary, shit, Mike can get this shit inside of a movie theater. You know what I'm saying? Inside of a movie theater. Just like Jason Black got Race Wars, we can put Culture Freedom, hitting cultures of the Americas. We can
or at
get
least
that.
shoot, or at least shoot for YouTube Redbox or Hulu or any other little sites that people stream movies on as well.
That's right, man. And I got the brother AP Power with me. It's my brother. Always thank the brother for coming through, man. Definitely, man. So let's get through some of these experiments, yo. Let's read some of this shit. It ain't really a lot to touch on, but I'm trying to get done with this because I gotta go run to the gym. I got an exam today. You guys know I went back to school, so I got an exam to take today. I gotta come back and study, go pick my daughter up, and you know what I'm saying. I got some things to do, but like I said, I got a bunch of shit pulled up here, y'all. And I had a lot of shit to really talk about. But I ain't, because time is of a virtue, so I might not have the opportune time to talk about it in this one. But like I said, tomorrow morning I'll bring to you the third installment of this shit. You know what I'm saying? This shit might go up to 100, man. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. Like it's like me and AP just was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But people like to forget, man, that was in the past, man. Nah, fuck that. That ain't in the past. These people still like this, man. They ain't gotta be all of them, but guess what? That's the reason why they don't want to give you reparations. They don't give you reparations because these people is evil. That's why. You done did all this shit, but they give reparations to motherfucking immigrants, man. You got they sending illegal citizens of this so-called my mind is a terrible thing to waste. Remember that? But they giving people now, all of a sudden they got money to give people free benefits that's not even citizens. So they don't, so they said, fuck your fucking ancestors who slaved, fuck your ancestors. And spit right in our fucking face by sending motherfucking immigrants that's not even illegal immigrants. They complain about you on fucking welfare, but where I live at, I see motherfucking immigrants who got 5 and 6 little babies, like in a fucking, like they in a fucking pyramid. Like, you know, you got one that's this tall, one is tall, one is tall. Like, how do somebody that don't know whether or not they're gonna get sent back have all them children because they telling you that you're gonna have all them children and they're not gonna do nothing to you? You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I'm different here, man. You know I got brothers that's allies of different cultures or whatever, but I'm not one of these people that's rallying. If I'm rallying for my people, just like everybody, just like Chinese is pro-Chinese, just like all the different Asian groups is pro them, just like these motherfuckers came out in the hundreds and supported all these people, supported that one person to lynch this man or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm for my people. I'm not for everybody. I'm for my people first. That's it. I'm not running around here. I ain't got the energy to worry about everybody else. I only got the energy to sit here and talk about the shit that was done to my people. So let me just keep it moving. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? So this is out of an article called Black Den. It's moving kind of slow though. So bear with me, y'all. All right, bear with me. All right, so this is 6 more experiments on slaves, or which was POWs and blacks you just might not know about. It say by now many people know about the different types of experiments that was done to Aboriginal slaves and other Aboriginal people. However, when speaking of experiments on people that's classified as black in color, most people think of the Tuskegee syphilis experiments and a few other well-known experiments. There were many other studies on experiments done on Aboriginal people as well. So some of these experiments on the list you might know, but a couple you might not know. Now we know if you watch Miss what the fuck is that movie with what's the name? What the fuck is
Morgan
my
Freeman.
man name? With who?
Morgan Freeman.
Is it Morgan Freeman?
What movie you talking about?
With the nurse that was infecting them with the syphilis. What's
I
my
don't know.
man? What's my man name? Play more fucking brain is not working. What the fuck is his name, man? One play Morpheus in the Matrix.
Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne.
He in that movie, whatever. And they showing how they was testing and they wouldn't give them or whatever. They trying to say that they had syphilis. That's not true. They wouldn't syphilis. So experiments by John Brown by his master. It's a former slave John Brown described experiments done on him by his master, Dr. Thomas Hamilton of Georgia. Brown described being made on top of a burning pot on a stool as Dr. Hamilton. The temperature reached 100 degrees and press. Then two supposedly good doctors stood by to determine how deep brown skin blisters, let's say by observing Brown's hand and his feet. It say before Brown passed, there was many other experiments performed on him by his master as well. All right. So let's keep it moving. All right. So that's all right. Experiments on 6 slaves. Let me move it all the way up. All right. So it say not only were slave owners conducting experiments on slaves, but hospitals was doing it as well. In the 1850s, Dr. T. Stillman placed a ad for sick Negroes, and slave masters were happily to hand them over, ill and elderly slaves who could not no longer work. During this time, it was viewed as a win-win situation, especially if slave owners were actually able to get back sick slaves who had been healed, It say, but if the slaves were not able to return and die in the hospital, pay for their burial, the slaves were giving no rights or legal rights of toxic plutonium, and uranium given to blacks. All right, so hold on, let me move this down. All right, so this is number 3. All right, so hold on. All right, so it's saying in 1945, a black truck driver named Abe Cade, it say, who was in an accident. Almost all of Cade's bones were broken during the accident. While he was being treated at the hospital, he was given doses of plutonium. Plutonium destroyed Cade's body. He must have heard the experiment and escaped from the hospital. He didn't know it was I'm sorry. He didn't know it, but he was the first to be given the deadly dose, but he was not the last. There was many African, Aboriginal American guinea pigs who followed behind him, and these blacks were either injected with uranium and plutonium as part of a radiation experiment. Former Secretary of Energy Hazel O'Leary declassify information on government experiments and use in unsuspecting Aboriginal Americans. All right. So number 4, and this going with white identity extremists as well. Fuck it. All right, number 4, conducting experiments on blacks that led later to cancer and other illnesses. During 1970, prison conducted experiments on prisoners, most of who were black, at Philadelphia Holmesburg Prison. It's a Dow Chemical paid to test potential carcinogens on black prison population. Many prisoners develop cancer and mental illness and skin conditions. All right, and like I said, a lot of them brothers probably was innocent. A lot of them brothers probably was fucking innocent, y'all. Probably was innocent, y'all. And check this shit out. All right, so this is Fannie Lou Hamer. Most people know she was an activist, and she actually got beat by a bunch of whites in I believe that was in Mississippi, I believe, or whatever, when they was in prison or whatever. And like I said, man, this shit go on and on and on. So the removal of Fannie Lou Hamer uterus without consent. Most people know about the experiments conducted on Fannie Lou Hamer. If not, here it is, again, let's say Fannie Lou Hammer, while on a plantation, developed a knot in her stomach. She went to see the doctor, and while the uterus, so she would not be able to have children. The people at the main house knew about it, and the wife of the slave owner joked that the knot hammer loss. No, I'm sorry. The knot hammer loss was not at all. It say the word soon got back to Hamer. Hamer went on to become a voting and civil rights activist. Hamer was not one of many. No, Hamer was only one of many Aboriginal women who were sterilized. They say a practice which became a favorite of white doctors. Morgan Sanger, which we already talked about, her racist fucking cracker ass, the founder of Planned Parenthood, which is a genetics, basically a population designed to populate so-called colored people or aborigines. Because I ain't gonna say no, yeah, they target other people, but guess what? They might target Latinos and Hispanics, but guess what? It's different when you raise your hand to go to a place. If you know that you going to a place where these people are wicked at, why would you go there? You have a choice. You could stay in your country and this shit would not even happen to you.
Right.
But we ain't got a choice. We don't have a choice. You got a choice. You don't have to come here. You don't have to come here. You don't have to come here to go to Disney World. You don't have to come here to get a fucking cell phone. You don't have to come here for nothing. You can stand where you at and try to make things better there. But you choose to come here and you know about all this shit and you still choose to come here. Okay, so I'm not. I really, like I said, I keep it moving. So Morgan Sanger, the founder of African and stereotype deceased black futility. All right, so what that's telling, they use these words, but we know fertility means population. You cannot populate or regenerate. You know what I'm saying? You cannot create life. All right, so let's continue with this, man. All right, so experiments on troubled black teams with perfumine. I don't know what the fuck that is. Firmine. I don't know what the fuck that is. All right, so it say Johnson received a knock on the door from researchers at Columbus University. They wanted to interview their son Isaac, who has been held in a detention center. The parents signed off the interview. It say which they were told would be used to determine whether Isaac might have mental problems. The parents did not know at this time Isaac was given furfumane. It say which causes serotonin levels to increase. Well, let me see something. Is it more? Oh, I guess that's it. Next time I'm gonna find something a little bit more thorough than this shit. Um, I find something a little bit more thorough than this because this was kind of a weak one. But let me close this out because this shit is giving my shit problems. Um, I got some other things up here, but I'm gonna probably have to add that to part two. Matter of fact, I might have time. I might got a little bit of time to run through this real quick. I'm gonna add this to it. Well, go ahead, AP.
That just goes to show how many different examples can be put out and demonstrated on white identity extremists. Maybe some have seen some in their own personal, experiences, but it's always happening. Now we live in a system that's systematically constructed by these white identity extremists. You understand? So, we just
Mm-hmm.
gotta understand how to pick a lock. You understand? For the lack of argument. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
don't
see
let
what I'm
these
saying?
people fool you, man. These people
Yeah,
benefit off of something that was horrific to your people, man. They pillaged this land. They came
that's
to this
right.
land, pillaged the land, totally stripped you of your identity, gave you some goddamn Christian color code, a descriptive term to label you as, but you cool with it.
Hmm. And exactly. So here go another article real quick. I think I touched on this in one of my other videos, but just to let you know, all right. So it's a eight thriving black communities destroyed by racist white neighbors. All right. So we got Atlanta race riots or whatever. Let me see something. I touched on this, man. I want to touch on. Hold up. We got Atlanta race riots. We got Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, I'm gonna touch on this one because this is a basic example of white identity extremists. During the oil boom of the 1910s, the area northeast Oklahoma around Tulsa flourished, including the Greenwood neighborhood, which came to be known as Black Wall Street. The area was home of several lawyers, realtors, doctors, and prominent black businessmen, many of them multimillionaires. Greenwood boasted a variety of thriving businesses such as grocery stores, clothing stores, barbershops, banks, hotels, cafes, movie theaters, two newspapers, and many contemporary homes. Greenwood residents enjoyed many luxuries that their white neighbors did not, including indoor plumbing and remarkable school systems. The dollar circulated 36 to 100 times, sometime taking a year for currency to leave the community. Okay, let me continue. The neighborhood was destroyed during a riot that broke out after a group of men from Greenwood attempted to protect a young black man from a lynch mob. On the night of May 31st, 1921, a mob called for a lynch of Dick Rowlands, a black man who shined shoes after reports spread that on the previous day he had assaulted Sarah Page. Now, look, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. A white woman in an elevator. She operated in the downtown business. How many white bitches had something to do with motherfuckers getting killed? And these niggas still fucking mate with these women. It say in the early morning hour of June 1st, 1921, Black Tulsa, Black Tulsa was looted, firebombed from the air, and burnt down by white rioters. The governor declared martial law, and the National Guard troops arrived in Tulsa. The guardsmen assisted firemen in putting out fires, removed abducted aborigines from the hands of white vigilantes, and imprisoned all black Tulsa all no, it say it imprisoned all black Tulsians. It say not already confined into a prison camp at a conventional hall and a fairground, some for as long as 8 days. In the wakes of the violence, 36 blocks was laid in charred ruin, and 800 people were treated for injuries. An estimate of 300 deaths occurred over one white fucking bitch yelling that something happened which never happened. These fucking devils went in there, and this is the reason why you ain't got shit to this very day, because they just
Right.
said these people was multi-millionaires. You understand? It's the reason why you have nothing. It's not the re. It's not because you never worked for nothing. It's because they made a system so you will never have nothing.
So yeah, and not only that, man. So what we talking about right now, Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, May 31st and June the 1st. You're dealing with the first terrorist attack by airplane. They always like to bring up 9/11, but 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma was the first terrorist attack done by airplane, which destroyed several buildings. And we got an eyewitness account, and he's on record as of 2015 with a witness of the massacre. I think his name was Buck, attorney Buck Colbert Franklin. He was a what you call a so-called American Black Negro. He was an attorney, He had his own office firm, and he got an eyewitness account, and he described it as a city under siege by a mob of whites and police.
Now listen to that. Now here go your joint right here. What we gonna talk about, right? So Knoxville, Tennessee race riots, 1919. In August 1919, a race riot in Knoxville, Tennessee broke out after a white mob mobilized in response to a black man accused of murdering a white woman. The 5,000 strong mob stormed the county jail searching for the prisoner. They freed 16 white prisoners. Now they went in there looking for black, but they freed 16 white prisoners, including
Mm-hmm.
a suspected murderer. After looting the jail, the sheriff house, the mob moved on and attacked the Aboriginal American business district. Right, it say many of the city's black residents aware of the riot that had occurred across the country that summer. Now they was doing this shit in all. It's saying many of the Aborigine businessmen, many of the city's black residents aware of the race riots that have occurred, it say across the country that summer. So this was an ongoing thing. It say had alarmed them and barricaded the intersection with vines and central to defend their businesses. Two platoons of Tennessee National Guard 4th Infantry, led by adjutant Edward Sweetie, arrived, but they weren't able to halt the chaos. The mob broke into stores and stole firearms and other weapons on their way to blood. Upon their arrival, the streets erupted in gunfire as black snipers engaged in fire with both the rioters and the soldiers. They say the Tennessee National Guard at one point fired two machine guns indiscriminately into the neighborhood, eventually dispersing the rioters. Hold up.
That's crazy.
Hold up. Let me see some more right here. Hold up. It says shooting continued and sporadically for several hours outgunned the black defenders gradually fled, allowing the guardsmen to gain control of the area. Newspaper placed the death toll as just two, through the witnesses' account suggested the dead were so many that bodies were dumped into the Tennessee River, while others was buried in mass graves outside the fucking city, right? So, like I said, people ain't talking about this shit right here. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, and there's even more. Like I said, this is I touched on this. I got a video talking about this already. But this is just an example. You know what I'm saying? This is just a small example. Look, I want to get on this right here, and I gotta end this because I gotta run. So I'm gonna touch on this real quick, and then I will be back for part 3, and we're gonna touch on some other things, probably the Indian massacre, and I will add this as well. All right. So with all the rape and the Me Too, and you got these black women out here. I ain't saying, listen, I love my black sisters. I'm not talking about most of the women that's in the chat room. I'm not talking about none of the women in the chat room. I'm talking about a lot of these so-called women that basically run along with these white feminists and basically sell their own fucking people down the river. Okay, now look, the forgotten history of black women protesting sexual assault. All right. So it say the forgotten history of black women crying out against sexual assault. It say last week Reese Teller, the victim of a 1944 brutal white on black gang rape in Alabama, died. She was 97 years old. Teller was also the subject of a nationwide crusade against the rape of black women in Jim Crow South. There is a long and buried history of black women speaking out against rape and bravely considerable shame in order to testify in details about the most terrifying ordeal. However, such anti-rape and anti-sexual harassment campaign has been repeatedly forgotten or ghettoized. All right. What's this? In 1971, it say I was one of the keynote speakers at the first ever New York radical feminist speaker. Here you go with the feminist shit. Look, feminists speak out on rape in NYC. It say, however, neither I nor the other mainly white feminists gathered there knew anything about the 1944 rape of Reese Teller in Alabama. It say, or about the nationwide protest campaign that followed. Tell a story only one of among many was carefully documented, but only 38 years later by historian Daniel McGuire in her powerful book At the Dark End of the Street: Black Women, Rape and Resistance, a new history of the civil rights movement from Rosa Parks to the rise of power. This book led to a 2017 documentary on the subject, The Rape of Reese Teller. Most white feminists had no idea that the NAACP, a host of other organizations, and thousands of individuals had once campaigned for justice for Reese Teller. All right, now let's keep it moving. They say her rape with six white men, and their identity were known. One even confessed, but the grand jury refused to indict twice. Oh my God. Let's say this again. Okay. Her rapists were six white men, and their identity were known. One even confessed, but the jury refused to indict twice. In general, the feminists as well as minority histories have been systematically disappeared. As an Australian scholar, Dale Splendor has documented, each of the new generation is doomed with reinventing the feminist. Well, all right, that's some other shit. They say the lynching of black men and the rape of black women were normalized in the Jim Crow South. Any black woman who dared to tell was threatened with death and the death of her family. White men have never been held accountable for raping black women, not during slavery, not after in not afterwards in the Jim Crow South. Okay? Now look, this was all this Me Too shit. Check this out. We're gonna end this on this. So unsurprisingly, Teller has been the foremother, including Celia is a Missouri slave historian. Milton A. McLaurin published an elegant book about her case, but not until 1991. They say we did not know about Celia until 20 years after the speak out. In 1850, an aged widow and farmer, Robert Newsom, purchased Celia, a 14-year-old child. Newsom raped Celia on her way, on her way to her new home. It say by the time Celia was 19, she had given birth to two of Newsom's children. Celia warned Newsom to keep away when he advanced upon her anyway. She killed him, burnt his body in her fireplace, crushed his bones, and hid some of his ashes. Celia did not flee. Boldly, Celia denied anything. Faced with evidence, Celia finally confessed. The newspaper report claimed that the murder has been committed without any sufficient cause. This lie was repeated in William Lloyd Garrison, the Liberator. Wow, let me read some more of that. They say the lie was reported in William Lloyd the Liberator, say, which meant that other abolitionist newspapers paid little attention to the story. Cecilia was tried by all white, all male jury. It say four of the jury owned slaves, although the judge remained hostile. Celia, highly experienced white um, defense attorney John Jameson argued that Celia had the moral and possibility the legal right to kill in defense of her honor and her life. According to McLaurin, the argument was both and bold and no was both and bold as it was brilliant. This may have been the first time in American history that a woman slave or free was seen as high, no, having such rights. Jameson wanted Celia acquitted. They say the jury found her guilty and she was sentenced to hang on December 21st. That's my birthday. 1855. Celia was marched to the gallows. The trap was sprung and Celia fell to her death. Wow. Let me see it. All right, so it's a Celia and also has many defendants. For example, in 1974, 20-year-old black American Joan Little killed her white jailer, it's in Washington, North Carolina, after he had entered her jail cell. Oh, jailer, my bad. He entered her jail cell. It's saying brandish a pickaxe, demanding and receiving oral sex. It's a Little turned the pickaxe on her rapist and fled. It say Little was not a slave, but she was in prison. Civil rights activist feminists launched a campaign on her behalf. A jury of 6 whites and 6 Aborigines found her not guilty. Also in 1974, Hispanic American Inez Garcia was tried for killing a man who held her down while another man raped her. Garcia was convicted and sentenced to 5 years to life. Feminist lawyer Susan Jordan appealed for her verdict, arguing that the woman had the right to use deadly force against a rapist in 1977, saying California, the Court of Appeal overturned the verdict and freed Garcia. Say despite such verdicts, whether a woman had a right to kill a would-be rapist in self-defense remains to be open. There are many other questions whose answers remain unknown. With the Me Too, yeah, we know about all that shit. All right, so I'm pretty much going to end it right there. But I wanted to add to this as well, man. You know what I'm saying? With all this shit going on, just about how they was doing our women, and we just read that they was lynching women as well, lynching them, setting them on fire, shooting them. These devils ain't have no compassion for none of them. But
Mm,
these motherfuckers have always been raping black women, and they always sit back and act like this shit never happened.
right.
So if you like to, man, go ahead and just kick it for a minute, man. Go ahead, cause I'm about to get out of here. But go ahead, just kick it for a minute. And like I said, before when I come back, I'm just going to end the live stream because I gotta run, y'all. But like I said, if you like to support, you like to support the Conscience one, go to my PayPal account. If you like to, um, if you like to donate for culture freedom, Hidden Cultures of America, you're more than welcome. You know what I'm saying? It's not mandatory. You can view many videos. I'm not gonna condemn nobody. You know, in the past, sometimes when you see you don't get support from your people, man, it does make you upset. But guess what? I ain't getting support. I ain't getting support from a lot, but I'm getting support. So I cannot fault my people. We know our situations. We know a lot of us are not well financed. Shout out to the people who have been able to support me. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. And like I said, if you want to support me on another note, go to my T-shirt Spring app, which is in the description. And just, find yourself something nice and cop it, man. If you have any suggestions for any T-shirts, send me an email at chief, CHIEF Attention AUTOCHTHON at AOL.com. And with that, I'm gonna say my piece and I'm gonna let AP take us out.
Oh no, bro, this was a powerful bill, man. There's just a lot more to keep adding to this white identity extremist. So, this was a heavy build. It's always a pleasure, let me come on your platform, brother. Uh you already know, man. Peace, love, light. and progression, man. Shout out to the brother Jaguar. Shout out to Chief. Peace to all the rest of the teachers and students of the crowd. So bless to everybody's coming out getting this information today. You can go ahead and end this thing off, it, bro.
Right here, what up? Yeah, man. But like I said, man, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, man, this is like I said, it's a lot of other cases, man. You know, definitely wanted to talk about the lynchings that was done in the South because a lot of our people, you hear stories about it, you hear it, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, there's other cases, there's a lot other cases, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, it's a it's just a lot of information out there, bro. You turn down the volume or something, bro. I can't hear nothing. Hey, one, your volume turned down, bro. I don't know what's going on with it. But like I said, this was a powerful build, y'all. So hopefully y'all was, soaking in some of this information. And we'll get back to more of the literature and the more of the uh,
No doubt.
intellectual builds.
You can hear me now, yeah. And like I said, man, if you'd like to donate, go to the links in the description. This is the title. This one has been White Identity Extremist Terrorists in the United States. Um, and this is the second installment. Like I said, there'll probably be all the way up to a part 20 if I can find more research on it, like I said. But for the most part, just want to touch on some of the key components to this, man. So with that being said, I'm out of here, man. Y'all have a good day, man. And I see y'all probably tomorrow, man. If I got time, man. I got a lot. We got hundreds of videos we need to put out. We can finish the encyclopedia. I got some other stuff, man. But right now, I gotta get up out of here, man. So AP, man, you have a good one. Hit me up a little later on. And the
So,
Times of American. Love and light to you guys, man. And with that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.
peace.